Mahaprabhu ki. Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Pristaya Bhutale Srimati Bhakti Vedanta Swami Iti Namine Vishnu Padaya Krishna Pristaya Bhutale Srimati Bhakti Vedanta Swami Iti Namine Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharine Nirvisesha Shunyavadi Paschatyajitarine Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharine Nirvisesha Shunyavadi Paschatyajitarine Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrindam Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrindam Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrindam Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrindam Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Bol, Hare Bol, Hare Bol, Gaur Hare Bol, Nitya Gaur Hare Bol, Hare Bol, Hare Bol, Gaur Hare, Nitya Gaur Hare Bol, Hare Bol, Hare Bol, Gaur Hare Bol, Nitya Gaur Hare Bol, Hare Bol, Hare Bol, Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada. Jayam Vishnupad, Paramahansa Parivrajikacharya, Astotara Satyashishi Mad, ISKCON founder Acharya, His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami, Srila Prabhupada ki, Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda ki, Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur ki, Prem Shigoho Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda, Shri Advaita Gadadha, Shri Vasadi Gaur Bhaktivinoda ki, Shri Shri Radha Krishna Go Gopinath Syama Kunda Radha Kunda Gita Govardhan ki, Shri Brajabhumi Brindavan Dham ki, Shri Dham Mayapur ki, Ganga Maya ki, Yamuna Maya ki, Bhakti Devi ki, Tulsi Maharani ki, Gaura Pramanandi. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to Sri Guru and Sri Gauranga. Jaya Jaya Sri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda. Jaya Dvaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrindam. Jaya Jaya Sri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda. Jaya Dvaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrindam. So the feelings of separation that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu felt for Lord Krishna is chapter 14 of Antya Leela. So this is very advanced, esoteric conception of love of God. The feelings of separation. Srila Prabhupada used to say that we should never think that, oh, now I have met Krishna. But the highest taste is the taste of Krishna Prema, love of God in separation from the Lord. This was exemplified by Madhavendra Puri when he was getting close to his death. He was on the bed and he was singing a verse, "Oh, my Lord of Mathura, I have not attained your lotus feet, and therefore I'm leaving this world in great lamentation." So he had a disciple called Ramachandra Puri. And Ramachandra Puri, within his heart, he was very critical of Vaishnavas. In fact, he used to go around and he would feed devotees like Jagadananda Pandit, Raghava Pandit. He would first give them lots of prasadam, and then after that he would say, "Oh, I've heard that the followers of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, they overeat, atyahara." They're overeaters, and he would criticize. And one time when he visited Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he saw some ants on the windowsill in the room of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in Puri. And he said, "Oh, sannyasis, you're a sannyasi, why are you eating sweets? These ants on the windowsill here, they're indicating that you're indulging in eating sweets. You're indulging your tongue. Jiva vegam. So this is not the proper behavior of a sannyasi." So in this way, he would move around the assembly of the associates of Lord Chaitanya and criticize them. So he was in the presence of Madhavendra Puri. When Madhavendra Puri was leaving his body, he was one of the disciples of Madhavendra Puri. And Madhavendra Puri was addressed by Ramachandra Puri. He said, "Why are you lamenting? Brahma Bhuta Prashanatmana Sochati Nakankshati Sava Sarveshu Bhuteshu Mad Bhakte Labate Param." He said in the Bhagavad-gita, Krishna says, one who is on the transcendental platform never laments or hankers for anything. Nasochati Nakankshati. Why are you lamenting? And Madhavendra Puri became so angry, he said, "You rascal, get out of my sight, or I'll never attain the lotus feet of Krishna." So in this way, Yasya Prasadad Bhagavad Prasado, Yasya Prasadad Nakati Katopi. Our whole existence and our spiritual advancement depends on the pleasure of the spiritual master. In the case of Ramachandra Puri, he displeased and offended his spiritual master, the great Acharya, Madhavendra Puri. And for this, he was not given the blessings of Lord Chaitanya. On the other hand, Ishvara Puri, another disciple of Madhavendra Puri, he used to take care of Madhavendra Puri's body when Madhavendra Puri was an invalid. He would clean him up, even take him into the bathroom and clean him after answering to the call of nature. And Madhavendra Puri blessed him that he would initiate the Supreme Personality of Godhead himself. The Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was so pleased that he took initiation from Ishvara Puri, as we know. So these expressions of separation from the Lord, feeling great anxiety like Radharani when Krishna left Vrindavan and went to Mathura. Uddhava came from Mathura to appease the gopis. And he brought a letter from Krishna. My dear gopis, know it that you can never be separated from me. Krishna is present in the glories of his holy name. In his aprakash. This is called his aprakash feature, unmanifested. And in this way, Uddhava was trying to please the gopis. But when Uddhava went back to Mathura to meet Krishna, he explained that Radharani was experiencing, and the other gopis were experiencing such great separation from him, that they were burning in the fire of separations. Radharani was lying on the ground. Her body was turning black from the heat of separation. In this way, we know Yugayitam nameshine chakshasha pravishayitam sunyayitam jagat sarvam govinda virahena me. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is also expressing this feeling of separation from Krishna. In fact, when Krishna comes in the form of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he completely embeds himself, he drowns himself in the mood of Srimati Radharani in Mahabhav, pure love of God. The highest stage is Mahabhav, love, such great love in separation, fathomless love for Lord Krishna. So in that verse by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Lord Chaitanya is saying that feeling a moment's separation from you, the world becomes vacant. And one moment feels like 12 years or more. Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur explains, he writes many verses about the love that Radharani and the gopis feel for Krishna, Madhurya Ras. So Uddhava is explaining this burning of the body, this burning feeling out of separation from the Lord. And when Akrura took Krishna back to Mathura, all the gopis were trying to block his chariot, as we know. And some of them even gave up their bodies out of great anguish from Lord Krishna. Radharani once prayed, she was cursing Lord Brahma, that you've given me eyelids which blink, and for that moment that I don't see Krishna, it feels like 12 years or more. It feels like a whole yuga. In this way, Radharani was praying that perhaps I can get the eyes of a fish which never blink. These are beautiful poetic expressions by the great acharyas. So in this particular chapter, it begins by Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. This part of the Yanchalila, the last 8 years of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's life, he's always acting in the mood of Radharani in great madness, sometimes rubbing his face against the walls in the Gambhira room. That is the room that Kashi Mishra gave him in Jagannath Puri. And devotees would be in great pain when they saw Chaitanya Mahaprabhu with his face bleeding from rubbing his face. He was completely in a trance of feeling separation from Krishna. And he would rub his face in the walls of the Gambhira room. you can go to that room in Jagannath Puri and see Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's, his shoes, some of his clothing is there, preserved in a glass case. This is where the Supreme Personality of Godhead resided for so many years of his life, of his appearance on this planet. Krishna Varnam Tvisha Krishna, Sangopangascha Parshadam, Yagyai Sankirtane Prayir Yajantihi Sumedasha. In Kali Yuga, Krishna Varnam, Vishwanath Chakravarti, Jiva Goswami explains that Tvisha Krishna, Krishna cannot appear as the Supreme Personality of Godhead, because then he'd have to kill everyone in Kali Yuga. Everyone is like Jaghai Madai. So now he comes, and internally, esoterically, he wants to taste the love, the fathomless love, the ocean of love that the gopis and Radharani feels for Krishna. He wants to taste that fathomless love. He cannot understand it. It's almost inconceivable to him. Achintya, inconceivable. So he appears here in Sridham Mayapur at Yoga Pit under a neem tree 537 years ago. He appears for the benefit of the entire world, and he freely wants to give this experience of loving the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And he empowers many of his devotees come with him. They're all, Narottam Das Thakur explains, they're all Nitya Siddhas. All his devotees, all his energies, Advaitacharya, Lord Nityananda, who's Lord Balaram, Mahavishnu, Advaitacharya, Srimati Radharani, Gadadhar Pandit, Srivas Thakur, Narada Muni, they all come to taste the nectar, Bhakti Rasam Rita Sindhu, the nectar of the ocean of devotion. Rasam Rita, this nectar. And he's giving it freely. He's empowering so many devotees. He empowered Nakula Brahmachari to move around Nadia, this area, and whoever saw him and heard him, they would also be infected with this pure love of God. Nishringananda Brahmachari, another great devotee of the Lord, was empowered by the Lord also. So in this way, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu would sometimes enter the body of other devotees and empower them to give out love of God to whoever met them in every town, every village. So this is a very special place, Prabhupada writes in the songs by Narottam Das Thakur, that this area of Nadia is a very special place. The Lord has chosen to place his lotus feet in this entire area. And it may not be surprising that right where you're sitting right now, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Nityananda may have been dancing right here in this area in ecstasy and distributing love of Godhead 537 years ago, or a little later than that. So this chapter begins with Chaitanya Mahaprabhu going and visiting Lord Jagannath. And as he's looking at Lord Jagannath in great ecstasy, every day after doing his duties, he would go for the darshan of Lord Jagannath in Jagannath Puri temple with his devotees. And as he was standing near the Garuda Stamba, a woman climbed up on his shoulders, eager to see the beautiful face of Lord Jagannath, Lord Balaram, and Lady Subhadra. And immediately Govinda, he panicked, and he said, he touched the lady and said, come down, you're stepping on the Supreme Lord. You're stepping on Lord Chaitanya, and moreover, you're also offending Garuda, a great devotee of the Lord. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, surprisingly, although he was very strict with the association of women, wasn't he? He even abandoned Chota Haridas. He ostracized Chota Haridas for going and begging a little rice from Sikhi Mahiti's sister. Sikhi Mahiti's sister is a very advanced devotee. In fact, Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami explains that there's only 3.5 devotees that understood the intense Mahabhav of Srimati Radharani and Lord Chaitanya, the intense love, the nectarine experience of Mahabhav. One was Sikhi Mahiti, Swarup Damodar, Ramananda Roy, and Sikhi Mahiti's sister, Madhavi Devi. So she's a very old lady, and she was very, very advanced, tasting the ecstasy of the gopis and Radharani's love for Krishna, and tasting, understanding Lord Chaitanya's deepest emotions while chanting the holy names. So when Chota Haridas went to beg from Sikha Mahiti's sister, of course, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu heard about this, and he excommunicated him. Ironically now, he's defending the woman's behavior, and he's calling Govinda his servant. He's saying, "O Adivasha, O uncivilized man, how dare you interrupt this woman's eagerness to see the beautiful face of Lord Jagannath. I wish I had that much eagerness to see the Lord, that much desire, Lala Shamai, intense greed to see and observe the beautiful form of the Supreme Lord." So he chastised Govinda, his servant. So that is the beginning of this this chapter here. So here we see, after seeing the woman, the Lord's external consciousness returned, and he saw the original deity forms of Lord Jagannath, Subhadra, and Lord Balaram. When he saw the deities, Lord Chaitanya thought he was seeing Krishna in Kuruksetra. He wondered, have I come to Kuruksetra? Where is Vrindavan? So in this period of his life, the last 8 years, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was always hankering to be in Vrindavan. He said, wherever my mind and my heart is, that is Vrindavan. For my heart is always in Vrindavan. And sometimes we see Lord Chaitanya walking towards the Gundicha Mandir, which is surrounded by his very intimate disciples, Swarup Damodar, Ramananda Roy, and his respectful associates, Paramananda Puri, Brahmananda Bharati. And sometimes he'd see a garden, like the Aitola Gardens, on the way to Gundicha Mandir. And he suddenly would think he would be in Vrindavan, and we'd go rushing into the garden, looking for Krishna and Radha. And in this way, he'd fall on the ground in complete ecstasy and go into what is called internal consciousness. And in this state of mind, he would go and he would assist the gopis in their transcendental activities. One time, he was describing in a very poetic way that his mind is like a horse, and all of his 5 senses are being pulled in different directions by the beautiful form of Krishna, by the beautiful smell of Krishna, by the beautiful texture of Krishna's body. Like this, all the 5 senses, the ears, the eyes, the tongue, the sweetness of Krishna's lips, all these various objects, Krishna's features, were pulling his 5 senses in different directions. Alas, the horse of my mind is going to die. So these are all beautiful descriptions that Swarup Damodar and Ramananda Roy and others, Rupa Goswami, would recite while Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was in this state of internal consciousness. Sometimes Chaitanya Mahaprabhu would be chanting in his Gambhira room, and all the doors would be locked. All 3 doors to his room would be locked. And Swarup Damodar and Ramananda Roy would be outside with Govinda. And suddenly the chanting would stop. And they would open the door, and Lord Chaitanya wasn't there. And Lord Chaitanya, by some mystics event, would end up near the Simhadwara gate of Lord Jagannath's temple. And in his ecstasy, his limbs would enter into his body, and he would look like a pumpkin. And when the devotees went looking for him, they'd finally find him. And they would chant in his ear, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. And if Lord Chaitanya came out of internal consciousness, he would say, why have you brought me here? I was in Vrindavan. There I was, experiencing the love of Krishna. I was experiencing the beautiful flute playing of Krishna and tasting the transcendental descriptions of Krishna's flute playing. It's described by Rupa Goswami that Krishna's flute playing is so magical that it pierced the entire covering of our universe. It struck the Gandharvas with wonder. It broke the meditation of the four Kumaras, Sanaka and Sanatan. And it caused Lord Shesh, who is holding the universes on his heads, to move hither and thither in a dizzy way. Such is the wonderful flute playing of Lord Krishna. It loosens the hair and belts of the gopis. Lord Chaitanya would recite these wonderful poems by the great acharyas from the Krishna Karnamrita of Bilvamangal Thakur and writings by Baladev Vidyabhushana. And he would be hearing these recitations given by Swarup Damodar, or himself he would recite these wonderful descriptions. That although Krishna's flute is male, and it is hard and full of holes, it is so presumptuous, it is always drinking the nectar of the Supreme Lord's lips. Although the flute himself is male, he's always at the lips of Krishna. Although the gopis are actually the real proprietors of Krishna's lips, the flute of Lord Krishna is so presumptuous and so bold that he's even challenging the gopis. I challenge you to come and drink the nectar of Krishna's lips. These descriptions are also given in the Chaitanya Charitamrita. Krishna's thundering voice, Krishna's joking words, Krishna's flute playing, and the tinkling of Krishna's ornaments. These four different sounds enter into the ears of the gopis while they're at home with their husbands and their children. And the gopis rush out to meet Krishna in the dead of night. And they cannot hear because these sounds have entered into their ears and taken nest there like a cuckoo bird. They cannot hear the calling and summoning of their relatives and husbands. Come home and take care of your activities, of your household duties. In this way, these beautiful poetic offerings are given. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is always tasting this wonderful experience, Madhurya Leela, Madhurya Ras, in separation from Krishna. So I'll read a little more. When Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu dreamed of the rasa dance, he was fully absorbed in transcendental bliss. But when his dream broke, he thought he had lost a precious jewel. At night, Lord Chaitanya would reveal to Swarup Damodar and Ramananda Roy the ecstatic feelings of his mind. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, "At first my mind somehow achieved the treasure of Krishna, but it again lost him. Therefore it gave up my body and home because of lamentation and accepted the religious principles of a Kapalika yogi. When my mind went to Vrindavan with its disciples, then my mind went to Vrindavan with his disciples, my senses. Having lost his acquired gem, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu became overwhelmed with lamentation by remembering its attributes. Then grasping the necks of Ramananda Roy and Swarup Damodar Goswami, he cried, 'Alas, where is my Lord Hari? Where is Hari?' Finally, he became restless and lost all patience." So Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur has written a book, Chamatkara Chandrama. In this book, he describes various activities of Krishna, various tricks and pranks that Lord Krishna plays while trying to meet Radharani. So because Radharani was benedicted with the blessings from Durvasa Muni, the whatever she cooked, anyone who ate that prasadam of Radharani would have a long life and would be always happy. So Mother Yashoda, she arranged that Radharani would come and cook in her house every day. In this way, Radha would get some association with Krishna. In this way, they would meet, and Radharani would cook for Krishna. Radharani had the benediction from Durvasa Muni that she wouldn't cook the same thing twice in her whole lifetime, and that whatever she cooked, no one could even come close to the wonderful fragrance and taste of this prasadam. So this was going on, and Radharani's mother-in-law, Jatila, she started noticing ecstatic loving symptoms in the body of Radharani. And so she made a decision with her daughter, Kutila, we have to forbid Radharani from going to the house of Krishna. Something's going on, and this is interfering with Radharani's marriage to Abhimanyu. So they closed up the doors of the house and kept Radharani from going to see Krishna every day and cooking for him. Radharani, you can imagine, even a moment of not seeing Krishna was so painful for her and the gopis. Radharani was lying on the ground and her body was burning up in separation from Krishna. Even a moment's absence of being in the presence of Krishna would cause such great feelings of pain in the hearts of the inhabitants of Vrindavan. The gopis, the gopas, even the trees, all the trees. We know that Krishna abandoned the gopis during the Rasa Leela dance. The gopis were thinking, oh, look at this, in the middle of the night, we're dancing with Krishna here in the forest of Vrindavan. We are very special. At that time, Krishna decided to hide away from the gopis. And when he did that, the gopis became very, very upset. They started lamenting, and they were going mad out of separation from Krishna. And they were running in the forest, going deeper and deeper. Where is the son of Maharaj-nanda? Where is the prince of Vrindavan? Where is the blue prince? In this way, they kept going deeper and deeper, looking in the forest. And out of separation, they started imitating the pastimes of Krishna. One gopi would imitate Putana, and another gopi would pretend to be sucking her poisoned breast. In this way, they would enact all the wonderful pastimes of Krishna. Another gopi would pretend to be the Shakatashura, the cart demon, and another gopi would push her down on the ground and say, now I have killed you. Another gopi would climb on the shoulders of one gopi and pretend to be the Trinavarta demon. Krishna had killed the Trinavarta demon. In this way, she pretended that she was killing Trinavarta. In this way, the gopis were enacting all the wonderful pastimes of Krishna as they went deeper and deeper into the forest. And they would ask the trees, my dear trees, have you seen the son of Maharaj-nanda? Has he passed this way? Has he gone past you? And of course, the trees, they are non-speaking living entities, non-moving living entities. So they wouldn't answer the gopis. And the gopis would rationalize, oh, the trees are male. And so they're protecting the other male, Krishna. And then they would go further in the forest. They would see the tulsis and other flowering plants, malika plants, jasmine flowering plants. And they would inquire from them, have you seen, has Krishna come this way? In this way, they were always feeling much a heightened experience of separation from Krishna. So Radharani was lying in the house of Abhimanyu and Jatila, and she's feeling such separation. Her body was overheating. She was burning in the separation. There was one letter from Lalita to Krishna. In this letter, this kind of emotion is called mrityu, or deathly, feeling deathly. Lalita wrote a letter to Krishna saying, Radharani is lying on the ground. She's feeling deathly ill. She's hardly breathing. Her body is not moving. I will put a cotton swab to her nose, and if she's breathing, I shall chastise her. So in this way, Lalita is a very, very spicy Saki of Radharani, and she's always chastising Krishna and calling him a rascal debauchee. So Krishna, he was at the home of Mother Yashoda, and he was missing the cooking of Radharani. And Mother Yashoda arranged for Rohini, Balaram's mother, to come and cook for Krishna. And Krishna wouldn't be eating as voraciously as he usually does. He's a young boy running into the pasturing grounds. And Mother Yashoda would notice that he wasn't the same. He wasn't the same boy. He was also feeling great separation from Radharani. And so a plot was hatched. Dhanishta, one of the friends of Radharani, one of the Sakis, she dressed Krishna up like a female doctor. And then she went to the house of Jatila and Kutila and Abhimanyu. And she said, I've come and I'm just requesting that Radharani can cook some nice ladus and some sweetmeats. Krishna is missing this nice cooking of Radharani. So Dhanishta went into the room of Radharani, and she was lying on the ground. Her body was burning up. Vishaka and Lalita, they'd made her a bed of lotus petals smeared with chandan and camphor to cool her body down. But when Radharani lay on that bed, suddenly the entire bed of leaves, lotus leaves, turned into embers, burning embers. In this way, nothing could resolve the issue of Radharani's burning separation. So Dhanishta thought, well, I'll trick her. And she whispered in her ear, Radharani, wake up, your beloved is here, and he's standing right before you. In a minute, in a moment, Radharani's eyes opened, and she said, where? And Dhanishta said, I've come from Yashoda's house, please immediately make some nice sweet preparations for Krishna. And immediately Radharani was thinking, oh, how can I please Krishna? I must cook for him some nice sweetmeats. And so she summoned Rupa Manjari, who appeared with Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, not very far from here. Now it's in Bangladesh. Rupa and Sanatan Goswami, they're both Manjaris. They appeared here after Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So Rupa Manjari is a very, very intimate associate of Radharani. And she started preparing the stove and lighting up the stove and arranging ingredients for Radharani to cook for Krishna nice sweetmeats. So as Radharani was cooking, the heat of the fire was getting hotter and hotter. But because she was cooking for Krishna, the magic of prema made the fire feel very cooling for her. And she felt very cool serving Krishna. In this way, when we serve Krishna, it's indicated that all problems go away. All our anxieties, our burning anxieties, everything is removed simply by engaging in devotional service to Lord Krishna. In fact, any kind of anxiety, we take that as a source of pleasure if it pleases Krishna. If we take risks to preach the mission of Lord Chaitanya, although it may be dangerous or painful, that risk is the greatest of our pleasure. This is described by Srimati Radharani in the final chapter of Antya Lila, where she says sometimes Krishna, being a debauchee, he sometimes wants to associate with another gopi. And that gives great pain to me. But because I have to give Krishna whatever pleasure and happiness he wants, I become the maidservant of that gopi. And I take her by the hand and I bring her to the doorstep of Krishna. And that great, excuse me. And that pain that I may be feeling becomes the greatest of my happiness if it pleases Krishna. So in this way, Radharani made nice sweetmeats for Krishna. And then Dhanishta took her aside and whispered something in her ear. And then Dhanishta disappeared with the sweetmeats and went back to the house of Mother Yashoda to give Krishna his sweetmeats. Then Radharani whispered something in the ear of Vishaka, and Lalita was present there. And suddenly Vishaka started groaning and agonizing and screaming and ran out into the room, the living room where Jatila was. And she was saying, "Oh my goodness, Radharani has been bitten by a poisonous snake and she's lying on the ground. This poison is moving up her body. If it reaches her head, she will die." And Jatila became very, very traumatized and became totally confused and was saying, "Oh no," and Radharani was lying there pretending to be deathly ill. And Jatila told her daughter Kotila, "Run and summon, get Abhimanyu to go to the village and get a doctor who can cure this poisonous effect of this poisonous snake." Then Radharani opened her mouth and said, I have taken a vow of chastity. I'm a very chaste housewife, and no doctor, no man can touch me. If he even touches my toes, I will die. So then Jatila was confused about what to do. And she asked Vishaka, "What should I do? What should we do?" And Vishaka suggested, well, Purnamasi, the mother of Sandipani Muni, she may know some mantras and tantras to cure this poisonous effect of snake bite. So let us go to Purnamasi's house. So they all went off to Purnamasi to meet Purnamasi. And when they met Purnamasi, Purnamasi was there with Gargacharya's daughter, Gargi. And they were asking, "Does anyone know? Radharani is dying from snake bite. Does anyone know the mantras and the medicine to cure?" And Gargi, the daughter of Gargacharya, said, "Well, I know many mantras, but my sister, whose name is Vidyavali, she is just visiting from Kashi. She's married to a very high-class Brahmin family in Kashi, but she just happens to be here in Vrindavan area, Gokul area, and she's very expert in curing poisonous bites by snakes." So I wonder who Vidyavali is. So Jatila was in great anxiety, and she was asking, "Let's go, please, let's go," and asked Vidyavali to please hurry up and come and help Radharani, save her before she dies. In this way, they went to the house of Gargi and met Vidyavali, who was Krishna disguised, and they requested, "Oh, Vidyavali, could you please come?" And Vidyavali said, "Yes, Jatila, let us go to the house of Abhimanyu. Let's go to your house and help this poor girl. But I am a Brahmin, and I'm not really accustomed to going to people's homes, but I will make an exception this time." So as they were walking, Vidyavali tells Jatila, "The mantras are in my throat, but I'm chewing this tambula, these special herbs, and I have to transfer them into the mouth of the patient. Are you okay with that?" And Jatila said, "Well, it's kind of awkward, transferring this remnants of someone's chewed remnants into someone's mouth." But Gargi intervened and said, "In the case of life and death situation, whatever is required has to be done. So they got to the house of Jatila, and Radharani was lying on the ground, and they went into the room, and there, Vidyavali, she said, oh, Radharani has to remove all her clothes. I have to touch her entire body to find out where the poison is. Which part of her body is the poison. So everyone leave the room. In this way, everyone had to leave the room, and behind a closed door, Krishna, as he was touching the body of Radharani. Radharani went into ecstasy, and her body was changing color, and her body was trembling. Nayanam galudashaya vadanam gadgada rudaya gira. When will my body tremble while chanting the holy names of Lord Krishna? When will my throat choke up? And when will my hairs stand on end while chanting the holy names of the Lord? So Radharani was in ecstasy by the touch of Krishna. And Krishna, he spoke quite loudly and said to them behind the door, this poison is so lethal that I'm going to have to summon the snake who bit her and find out some reason and question him. So then Krishna, in disguise his voice as a snake, he summoned the snake. And in the voice of the doctor, he's asking, my dear snake, where did you come from? The snake said, Mount Kailash. Oh, who has sent you? Lord Shiva. Why has he sent you to bite the daughter-in-law of Jatila? And the snake said, I am biting this daughter-in-law because Jatila has committed a great offense to Durvas Muni. She has been suspicious that the cooking of Radharani is not good enough and that somehow her chastity is being questioned. Therefore, I have bitten the daughter-in-law, and that gives much more pain to the mother-in-law than direct biting her. Oh, but why didn't you bite the son, her son? I will bite him tomorrow when he comes here. So in this way, a discussion went back and forth between Vidyavali and the king of snakes. And Jatila, hearing this, she started yelling out loud, No, I will never, ever try to, please forgive me. Durvas Muni is actually an expansion of Lord Shiva. I hope that he can forgive me for having offended him and questioning his great blessings to Radharani. And as far as Radharani goes, she can do whatever she wants. Please just save her life. I'm sorry, I'm just a mad woman. Sometimes I do crazy things. And my daughter-in-law, she causes so much anxiety to my daughter, Kutila, causes so much anxiety to my daughter-in-law. From now on, she won't say anything. In this way, they both surrendered and were begging for forgiveness. So Vidyavali opened the door, and the serum was given to Radharani, and Radharani said, now I'm feeling much better. In this way, a wonderful prank of Krishna and the gopis were all giggling, and a wonderful prank was conducted by Krishna and Radha to meet again. And then Jatila said, from now on, Radharani can go to the house of Mother Yashoda anytime she wants and cook for Krishna. Shri Radha Krishna Ki. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is describing feelings of separation, and he's comparing his mind to a great yogi. He's saying, the ring of Krishna's Rasa Leela, manufactured by Sukadev Goswami, the most auspicious craftsman, is as pure as an earring made from a conch shell. The yogi of my mind is wearing that earring upon his ear. From a gourd he has carved out the bowl of my aspirations, and he's taken the bag of my expectations on his shoulder. The yogi of my mind wears the torn quilt of anxiety on his dirty body, which is covered with dust and ashes. His only words are, alas, Krishna. He wears 12 bangles of distress on his wrist and a turban of greed on his head. Because he has not eaten anything, he is very thin. The great yogi of my mind always studies the poetry and discussions of Lord Krishna's Vrindavan pastimes. In Srimad Bhagavatam and other scriptures, great saintly yogis like Vyasadeva and Sukadev Goswami have described Lord Krishna as the supersoul beyond all material contamination. The mystic yogi of my mind has assumed the name Mahabaula and made disciples of my 10 senses. Thus my mind has gone to Vrindavan, leaving aside the home of my body and the great treasure of material enjoyment. So when Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya was in discussion with Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, at the end of the 7 days, he realized who is Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Sri Krishna Chaitanya Radha Krishna Nohe Anya. That none other than Radha and Krishna, the Lord has now appeared in the age of Kali to deliver the souls from the deepest, darkest dungeon of ignorance. And so he offered a beautiful prayer, Vairagya Vidyanija Bhakti-yoga, Shiksharsham Eka Purusha Purana. Sri Krishna Chaitanya Sharira Dari, Kripambudir Yastvam Maham Prapadye. I offer my respectful obeisances unto Sri Krishna Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who has descended onto this earth planet, into this universe, to teach us renunciation, vairagya, vidya, knowledge, real knowledge, and pure devotional service unto himself. So this entire activity of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is to demonstrate to us that we can also, even though we are very fallen in the age of Kali, and Narottam Das Thakur sings Patita Pavana Tava Avatar, Hetu Tava Avatar, Moshamo Patita Prabhu Napaibe Ar, that there's no other incarnation as merciful as Lord Chaitanya. Because even murderers and rapists can become pure lovers of God like Jaghai and Madhai. And he's distributing it very freely without any hesitation whatsoever. It says that when Panchatattva were dancing in ecstasy and performing kirtan throughout Nadia, that those who were fit or unfit, it didn't matter. They simply drowned in this ocean of love of God. They were qualified or unqualified, it didn't matter. They all drowned in the ocean of love of God. And we see in the world today, throughout the world, that everyone is simply nunam pramata kurute vikarma yad indriya pritya aprinoti. The sadhu manye sura atmanoyam shan api kileshada ashadeha. Everyone is, Prahlad says, mad. Everyone is mad, Rishabhadeva, mad after sense gratification. They're simply pursuing, even here in India. Prabhupada said, India is spoilt by westernization, by imitating the West. Simply pursuing bhoga and aishvarya, material opulence and sense gratification, for which there is no happiness whatsoever. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is coming to teach Vairagya Vidya Nija Bhakti-yoga. Vairagya, that Yavad Briyeta Jataram Tavat Svatvam Hidehinam Adhikam Yo Bhimanyeta Sustaina Dandhamarti. Yudhisthira Maharaj is hearing from Narada Muni in the 7th canto, and then Prahlad Maharaj meets the Avaduta who's lying on the ground. And in these verses it's described that one should accept only as much as one needs to maintain the body and soul together. Yavat briyeta jataram tavat svatvam hi dehinam. Just accept what you need, just like the bird. He takes a few seeds and goes away. Nowadays, everyone's hoarding. Atyahara. Collecting more than necessary. Hoarding more than necessary. This is one of the obstacles to our advancement in spiritual life. Overeating, indulging the tongue in opulent foodstuffs, and over-collecting. Oh, I need this, I need that, I need more, I need a bigger house, I need soft bed, I need nice opulent pillows. So the whole world is being mesmerized. Nunam pramatak kurute vikarma. They're becoming mad for material luxuries. Nice soft pillows, nice bed, nice sense gratification. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has come to teach us the very opposite. The rasa varjam rasopiyasya, by tasting the nectar of the holy names, by actually tasting this. Adoshada tata sadhu sangha, first associate with devotees, bhajana kriya, and then engage in chanting and hearing 24 hours a day. Satatam kirtayantamam yatantascha dhridavrataha. And with great determination means practicing the austerities, keeping the mind and senses controlled. Right? Vachavegam manasakreta vegam. Jiva vegam udaro pasta vegam. One who tastes the highest ecstasy of chanting the holy name, nishta ruchi, one becomes fixed in relishing the chanting of the holy name. Within the holy name, all of Krishna's potencies are there. Everything is there in the holy name, which is non-different from Krishna. So Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya, he's teaching this. He's glorifying Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who is teaching vairagya, vidya, nija bhakti, pure devotional service. Devotional service devoid of any kind of motive, desire for gain, desire for prestige and profit, desire for some kind of following and recognition, na danam, na janam, na sundarim. These are different elements that we have to clear from our hearts. Anartha nivriti, getting rid of all these subtle and gross pieces of dirt within our hearts, and then the Lord can sit within our hearts, and gradually we can enter into the realm of devotional service. So Narottam Das Thakur has many beautiful songs like this. Bhakti Vinod Thakur, Kabe Habe, Narottam Das Thakur, Kabe Habe, Bolo Se Din Amor, Aparada Gucci, Sudanami Ruchi. When will that day be mine? When I taste for the holy name, I will have ruchi. I will taste the sweet nectar of the holy name. Just like Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he is tasting the sweet nectar of Krishna's pastimes. He has no other desire. He doesn't even want to eat or sleep. The 6 Goswamis are in Daban. They conquered over eating, sleeping, mating, and all the different pushings of the body. Raghunath Das Goswami was so absorbed in love of God that he would eat a couple drops of butter every day or two. And he would sleep half an hour a day. This is an indication of one who is experiencing a very high level of prema bhakti. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is freely, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and his associates are freely trying to give it to us. What is the secret? Narottam Das Thakur says, Hino vine nite bai, Radha Krishna poitinai. If you want to enter into the wonderful pastimes of Radha and Krishna, Radharani running towards Krishna. One beautiful verse given by the Acharyas, Rupa Goswami writes that the river of Srimati Radharani has long since abandoned the tree of Abhimanyu, her husband, and she's broken through the bridge of social convention and crossed over the hills of family and relatives' instructions of chastity and morality. And as she flows towards the river, the great ocean. She flows towards the ocean of Krishna. She's met with the waves of discouraging words, of the codes of conduct for married housewives. Beautiful verses like this. Radharani is simply, they didn't care when they heard Krishna's flute. They simply rejected all codes of conduct for married women and ran to the forest. Where is Krishna? Where is Krishna? And this is what Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is drinking. This is what he's relishing. So it begins with Vairagya. Rasavarjam rasopiyasya param dristva nivartante, right? Krishna tells Arjuna, Vishaya vinivartante niraharasya deinam. In the beginning, sadhana bhakti, Vedi bhakti, by controlling our mind and senses, by practicing sadhana bhakti, Jeev Jago, waking up early during the Brahma Muhurta hour, attending Mangal Arti, attending Tulsi Arti, attending Srimad Bhagavatam class, Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya, and then glorifying the spiritual master every day. One experiences the higher taste, and then the Lord desires for sense enjoyment, and the mind's pushings gradually become weaker and weaker. And one is able to enter into a more spontaneous level of devotional service. In sadhana bhakti, there are two different stages. The first stage, one is forcing himself to wake up at 3:30 in the morning and attending Mangal Arti. But Kapila Dev says, the one who sees the deity of the Lord in the temple, one should meditate on the beautiful forms of the Lord in the temple, and that these forms of the Lord are non-different from the super soul sitting within the hearts of the yogis who are meditating on the super soul in the Himalayan mountains. Non-different. Krishna is standing there waiting for us to come for darshan and glorify him. Satatam kirtayantumam, like that. So this is the second stage, Raga Bhakti, when one is a little more spontaneous in his service to Krishna, and he's enthusiastically, utsahan, he has some enthusiasm for chanting the holy names, for distributing the holy names to others. Is only, as Prahlad Maharaj says, Naivod Vijaypada Duratya Vaitaranyam Twadvirya Gayanam Hamrita Magnachita. My consciousness is completely absorbed in your wonderful activities and glories. Tote sochetato vichechasa indriyartam maya sukhayam baram udvahato vimuda. That my only lamentation is for those foolish people who are trying to enjoy society, friendship, and love, and who are controlled by their senses. Vimukachetasa indriyartam. Their consciousness is fully embedded, fully riveted in the senses, and the senses are pulling them here and there, and they're behaving like wild animals. So devotee of the Lord, by practicing vairagya and knowing the truth of life, that he is an eternal servant of Krishna, and trying to please the great acharyas, tat karma pravartanat, following in the footsteps of the great acharyas. We have so many wonderful and great jewels of acharyas, beginning with Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada, who is distributing this love of God beyond the shores of India, and his spiritual master who ordered him on his order to go across the ocean and distribute this wonderful treasure of love of God. It said that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Ramananda Roy, when they met in South India, they became like miners, and they were mining out different jewels in the mine, sapphires, rubies, emeralds, all types of beautiful, wonderful, precious gems were coming. And what was that? The different rasas, mellows of love of God. Even the trees in Vrindavan are offering their fruits and tasting love of Godhead. the gopis are picking those fruits from the trees, the kalpavriksha trees, and they're making nice preparations for Radha and Krishna. The trees are deriving and tasting that conjugal love by supplying the fruits. The cows in Goloka Vrindavan, the Sarabi cows, are supplying whatever devotees want to please the divine couple, Radha and Krishna. And these songs are being sung by Narottam Das Thakur, and we have them in our songbook. So this is what Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya is telling, glorifying Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Namo Mahavananyaya Krishna Prema. He's so merciful that Kritayat Jayato Vishnu. In Satya Yuga, they had to meditate for hundreds and thousands of years, tens of thousands of years, to attain what one can get here in Kali Yuga. Kaloyad Dari Kirtanad. That in the age of Kali, simply by chanting these holy names of the Lord, the simple process, and by associating with devotees favorably. Favorable association means Krishna Katha. Unfavorable association is called Prajalpa. So Rupa Goswami, the father of devotional service, has warned us about the 6 pitfalls against devotional service. Atyahara prayashas cha, prajalpaniyamagraha, janasangas chaloliam cha, sadvir bhakti vranashiti. Overeating or eating luxurious foods. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was very strict with his eating. We see that the 6 Goswamis, they were very strict in their eating habits. So that is the pursuance of the materialistic people, going to restaurants, enjoying different flavors of food, because the tongue is very voracious. But there's a line from the tongue to the mind to the belly to the genitals. This tongue is there. This line is there. So atyahara, collecting more than needed, greediness, possessiveness. These things are described by Narada Muni to Yudhisthira Maharaj. Sokamoha bhaya krodha, raga klebya shramadaya, yan mulam snurjayam jayat, spriham panartaya buddha. The root cause of all your problems, like lamentation, illusion, fear, anger, raga klebya, attachment, over-attachment to material things, to your own body, to your material possessions, to your bank balance, even to the bodies of your relatives. Raga, klebya means poverty. You become impoverished because you spend so much money on your senses, and so on and so forth. Yanmula srunayam jayat. The root cause of all this, spriham pranartaya buddha, the intense desire within your heart to try to enjoy worldly pleasures. Bhaktivinoda Thakur says, "O Gopinath, I am simply a rascal, always trying to enjoy worldly pleasures." And even in the assembly of devotees, although we may wear tilak and neck beads and have dhoti on, sometimes our mind victimizes us, and we want some kind of worldly perks. I want the best scooter. I want the best room in the brahmachari ashram. I want this, I want that. I want a position in ISKCON. So these are all pitfalls that Rupa Goswami warns against. Atyahara prayashascha, prajalpaniyamagraha, talking nonsense, speaking on mundane topics, gossiping about other devotees. It basically stems from envy of others. And Krishna tells Arjuna in the 12th chapter, Adveshta sarva bhutanam maitra karuna evacha, nirmamo nirahankaro samadukha sukhakshami. He says, my devotee who wants to please me, he is free from envy of any living being. What to speak of other devotees? Anyone, become free from envy. Maitra Karuna, friend to all living entities. Maharaj Yudhisthira was friends even to the Kauravas. He is Ajata Shatrava. He who has no enemy, he's a friend of his enemy. That is devotee. Even someone beating Haridas Thakur in so many 22 marketplaces, he's praying for them. Oh, please, let me, please give them love of God. Please don't let them go to hell for beating me. Let me take on their bad karma. I will even accept their bad karma. This is the devotee of the Lord. Yasmin nod vijite loko, lokan nod vijite chaya. Harsha marsha bayod vegar, muktaya sachame priyaha. One who has never causes anxiety to others, and who has never put in anxiety, even if there is room or opportunity to be put in anxiety by others. He doesn't accept that. Oh, this is my karma. I must have offended you in a previous life. He's completely transcendental. He's simply relishing the holy names of the Lord, the nectar of love of God, the nectar of the holy names. This is what we're striving for. Harsha Marsha Bayovigar. He's equal in both good and bad, happiness, auspicious, inauspicious, success, failure, all these things. His mind is simply fixed on how to please Krishna. He doesn't mind these things. This is the symptom of the person who is attached to the lotus feet of Krishna. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he's feeling great separation. He's internally always striving to indulge in the Lord's wonderful pastimes, in his wonderful activities. There are 4 qualities that Krishna possesses and no one else, no other avatars have. No other of the Purusha avatars, Guna avatars, none of the various avatars, Leela avatars. Krishna possesses 4 beautiful qualities, exclusive to himself. Can anyone tell me what they are? Any hands? Can you tell me what they are? Number 1, Krishna is always accompanied by his flute. Number 2, yes? Yes, he's always enjoying unusual pastimes in Vrindavan, extraordinary pastimes with his devotees. Number 3. Yes? I can't hear him.
Extreme beauty.
Yeah, extreme beauty? Yes, extreme, unparalleled beauty. No one is anywhere close to the beauty except Radharani, of course. Madan Mohan Mohini, right? Radharani is the attractive Cupid. So flute, unusual and extraordinary pastimes, unparalleled beauty. And the 4th one, this one is a little bit synonymous with the others. Yes? He's always surrounded by loving devotees who don't really realize that he's God. The cowherd boys are climbing on his shoulders. They're playing tricks on him. They're playing leapfrog. Mother Yashoda, when she sees Krishna being embraced by the Kaliya serpent, she goes into complete trauma. She's almost fainting on the ground. She starts praying. Rupa Goswami says that she's praying to the trees in the forest near the Yamuna River where the poison snake is. And she's in such a trance, she thinks that the trees are great sages, and she's praying to them, please give me some medicine which will cure the poisonous effect of Kaliya on my son. And Maharaj Nanda, he's so overwhelmed with paternal affection that he says, we might as well give up our lives. Look, Krishna is embraced by this huge serpent with hundreds of hoods. How can he survive? Let us also enter the Yamuna River and give up our lives. And when Krishna left for Mathura, Radharani, Vishaka, Lali, they all committed suicide. Radharani entered into Yamuna River, gave up her life, and appeared as Satyabhama in Dwarka. These are described by Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur. Is it time to stop? Okay, Hare Krishna. Thank you. I hope you didn't get too bored.
Any questions?
Any points, questions, comments?
Hare Krishna, Prabhu, Dandavat Pranam.
Hare Krishna.
Prabhu, actually Lord Krishna and their associates, they descended to the Kali Yuga as a Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So because they are all goddesses and everything, they are all goddess now. But the same cultivation, is it possible in this present situation? Because we are entirely depend upon the Kali Yuga, some bad habits, no? Is it possible in this years one become a devotee to such a serious devotee?
Srila Prabhupada said in one moment you can become a pure devotee of the Lord. It's a matter of surrender. It's a matter of surrender. So in the mood of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, is anyone here, if you don't have a set of Chaitanya Charanamritas, kindly put your hand up. This is in Bengali. I can supply it in any language, Hindi, English.
এখানে যাদের কাছে বেঙ্গলি বাংলায় চৈতন্য চরিতামৃত আছে প্রভুর কাছে, যাদের কাছে নাই প্রভু দিতে চাইছে।
I'm offering this to anyone who wants to relish the pastimes of Lord Chaitanya for Gaur Punim. Any response? Oh, a little boy over there. No. We request you to please, if you don't have Chaitanya Charitamrita set, please acquire one for this Gaur Purnim festival. The price is 3,000 rupees. And we ask you to contact the devotees here in Sridham Mayapur and keep this in your home. It's non-different from Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And you will experience great ecstasy and bliss by reading and meditating on the pastimes of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna.
Thank you very much, Prabhu, for the wonderful class. So we came to the last day of Sravan Utsav. First half, we thank to Prabhuji by chanting